o'clock from the studios of Love 99.5. And as I speak, Love in the Morning is airborne. Now, on every 7th of June, worldwide, it's observed as the World Food Safety Day. So last Wednesday was the 7th of June, and therefore the day was observed as such, not only in the country, but in the region at large. This day aims to draw attention and inspire action to help prevent, detect, and manage foodborne risks, contributing to food security, human health, economic prosperity, agriculture, market access, tourism, and sustainable development. That's what it's aimed at doing. Now, the global theme for this year was Food Standards Saves Lives. Food Standards Saves Lives. That was the global theme for this year's celebration. Now, it is estimated that each year, worldwide, unsafe food causes about 600 million cases of foodborne diseases and 420,000 deaths. That is really disturbing. Unfortunately, I tried to get the figures for Ghana. I couldn't get that one. So I asked, on a scale of 10, as 0 to 10, on a scale of 0 to 10, how would you describe, food safety in Ghana? What would you want to bring to the attention of those in authority? Share your thoughts with us using our WhatsApp number 05511119995. As often like we ask you to do, record a voice message, a voice note, send it in so we play it. As I speak, we're live on Facebook on LUV 99.5 FM. Now, to help us with the conversation this morning, you'll be hearing from Mr. John Laye Odaitete. He's the Ashanti Regional Head for the FDA. You'll also be hearing from Mr. Ofori, who is a Metro Environmental Head with the KMA. These are the two gentlemen who will be helping out with the conversation. But before we delve into the conversation proper, listen, let's talk about where you can get the best security doors in Ghana. There's only one place that I know. The name of the place is Locks. They deal in Israeli security and internal doors. Their doors, like we always tell you, the doors are elegant, the doors are affordable, the doors are durable. It has a gladiator locking system, 13 bolts lock all round into the galvanized steel frame. Now, their doors do not make noise when opened or closed, therefore does not, help people or aid people in monitoring the movements of people in the home. It is specifically coated with powder paint to avoid peeling of paint. It weighs over 60 kg for a single door. It comes in single large, 1.5 and double doors. Now, you can also order for special height doors if that's what you're looking for, depending on the size of your door frame. Their doors are made of galvanized steel, so it is rust-free. Now, at Locks, keys are coded with 5 keys per door, which cannot be duplicated under any circumstances. So if you want peace of mind, security at home, offices, banks, and the warehouse, go straight to Locks to have a door that lasts so long without replacement. Now, there is a special offer for architects, for building contractors, and real estate developers. Contact them by visiting their showroom at corner of the Durban Sokoban Road, or you can send a WhatsApp message or place a call to this number. These numbers actually 05087777755 or 0575777755. Locks, we protect what matters most. And we know that it's the things that you have acquired for your home, and of course, most importantly, your life. Now, Syntex is a market leader in water tanks in Ghana, with sizes ranging from 100 liters up to 25,000 liters. Now, you are sure to have the size you need for your business or your home. Now, it's available in many different colors at no extra cost. Now, Syntex has just launched a new Syntex Pure Gallon tank. Still the strength of a Syntex tank with an affordable price. Get yours today from Syntex agents nationwide. Now, did you also know that Syntex doesn't just do tanks? Well, now you know, because Syntex is your one-stop shop for all your plastic packaging needs. Call them today on 050-5555-666 to find out more, or send a message to their social media handle at Syntex Ghana. Syntex, you're strong, you're tough. Okay, so Mr. Laye is already with me in the studios of Love 99.5. By the way, good morning to you.
Good morning.
And how are you doing?
Very well, by grace.
If my memory serves me right, this is the second time I'm having you on the show, and it's close to a year since you came to town, isn't it?
It's actually a year.
A year?
Actually a year now.
Wow.
Yes,
a year in Kumasi.
1 year.
So how has Kumasi been for you? How is Kumasi treating you?
Well, Kumasi treating me, I think, would not be it, because I decide how I live my life.
Okay.
Yes. But basically, it's been great and fun.
It's been great and fun.
Yeah.
So last Wednesday was the World Food Safety Day. How was the day observed in Kumasi?
Well, let me use this opportunity to say a very big good morning to my Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Mrs. Delisdako, and my strong force I have here as FDA officers. Well, it came in two folds. On the 6th, we had a street carnival, sort of, that's ended up in the markets, the race course market, where we sensitized the markets women and those who were there to purchase their stuff. It really was joy to see the way people embraced the discussions and contributed. You could easily tell that people were interested in getting things better executed than it has been all this while. Then the next day, the 7th, which is the day of commemoration itself, there was a conference, exhibition, and panel discussions on standards and safety in general. That took place at the Golden Bean Hotel. So that was how it was. Prior to that, there were a number of discussions on air. We planned to also have a quiz for the second cycle institutions, but at the time the planning started and the time we thought it could be possible, they went on recess. So that has not taken place yet.
Will it come off?
It is still impending.
Okay.
So,
but generally, when it comes to food safety, in our region, how well are we doing?
It is getting better.
Compared to what?
Compared to some years back.
Based on what?
Based on statistics, based on observations. Now, food safety is everybody's business, basically put. But you realize that the problem we have is attitudinal. You sensitize people, within a short time, they go back to what they know best. We are at a point where enforcement will have to be intensified, because we cannot sensitize people forever. And you could easily tell it is intentional. People have decided not to move from their cottage way of doing things, and they still want to remain in the filth. So the regulators will have to crack the whip this time.
Is it more an attitudinal thing, or it's more of the lack of enforcement of the bylaws we have?
It is also a factor, because regulators will need to be resourced. Regulators will need to plan and take action. You may have situations where people or the regulators have been working in silos. This time round, that kind of thing will not help. Last year, there was the launch of the food safety policy, which brought all agencies, institutions whose duty it is to ensure that there is safe food for all, including the governments, to ensure that we work together seamlessly, because no one agency can hit the mark. Intersectorial activities that must be coordinated, collaboration that must be enhanced is the way to go. So the food safety policy determines who does what and when, so that there is a single unit attacking the filth in our environment at the marketplaces and ensuring that there's safe food.
But in this policy, who has oversight responsibility over all the other agencies or all the other stakeholders in there? Is it the FDA?
Well, it's actually Ministry of Health.
Okay.
There are other ministries also involved. But at every point in time, depending on the stage of the food chain, a lead agency will take over.
What is a lead agency?
So let's look at the continuum of food production. It begins with the primary producers. So we have the crop producers, we have the animal producers. At that point, you have Ministry of Agric. When it comes to post-harvest activities, Food and Drugs Authority takes over. Transportation, display of ware on the markets, and processing. Now, when it gets to the market setting, we also have the Environmental Health and Sanitation Department of the assemblies. So it means that the MMDAs also have roles to play. So these are the things that have been outlined in the policy.
But aside from the role of the MMDAs in there, what role does the FDA has when it comes to, let's say, food vendoring or people selling in the market? Do you have any responsibility, any role at all?
So, referring to the section of the Public Health Act, Section 82B, the authority is supposed to monitor food safety and compliance at the marketplaces through the assemblies. So we have an oversight responsibility, and we are working with them to ensure
that. So if they are not doing their job well, what do you do?
Well, as I said, it is not a single unit operation. It is collaboration. Currently, we are with them, ensuring that all street food vendors acquire street food vending permits. Just recently, we have received the first batch of 200 permits to be distributed, and we are also encouraging consumers to look out for the permits. I don't have one with me now. Would have projected.
But where would the permits be displayed? So, for example, if I go to a chop bar, I can see it, and if I go on the street to somebody who's on the street selling, a vendor on the street selling, where would the person, or where is the person supposed to display it so we can all see it?
Right. So let me give you the background to that.
Okay.
It is more usually how the ware or the product is displayed. We need to know where it is coming from.
Okay.
And so the concept of the street food vending permit requires that the inspection is carried out at the food preparation area before we move to the area where the vending is done. So by that, you will need two steps. Preparation area, vending point.
Okay.
When you pass, there is a minimum food safety level you have to cross before you are issued with the permit. So once that is done, the permit, which comes in a sticker form, and it is strictly location specific, will be put on your table if you are using a table, or your vending area. Definitely there is a structure that you put your word on, so that will be displayed there. So vendors, now consumers are supposed to look out for those stickers. It means that we have, together with the environmental health units, inspected the preparation place as well as the environment it is sold in. Yeah.
Now, but do they all have tables that they sell from, so that you can display this certificate or this receipt on it for us to see?
Yes, so to begin with, we have started with those who are stationary, because you're supposed to buy food from a point you can always go back to when you have issues, not the hawkers. The hawkers will have their turn.
When?
But currently, no, it's a gradual process. It used not to happen, but now it is happening.
Even if it's a gradual process, what measures have been put in place to ensure that for those who are hawking, who are moving, because there are people who have cooked rice and stew, cooked their beans and their TZ and even their kebabs, and they are roaming town to sell. Is that to say that up until that time, they are at liberty to do what they have to do or they want to do?
Not really. The reason we are working with the assembly is that they issue permits for all these people to rent. I think tolls are also taken from them.
Yeah.
So the expectation is that there is a database of all those who produce and sell food, and it is part of the new wave. Because you ask yourself, what is the minimum requirement someone needs to jump into the food business?
Yeah.
Currently, it is almost non-existent, and that is where we are coming from.
Do we have it and we're not enforcing it, or it's non-existent?
To in fact, every business in this country is regulated by a law or some form of regulation, and for that matter, there is an agency responsible. So with that level of business, the district assemblies are really in charge. Just that we are monitoring through them, so working together to ensure that whatever laws or regulations exist will be activated and used.
So we're talking about food safety in our region here this morning. We've got the regional boss for the FDA with us, and we also have the head of the food safety and sanitation of the KMA also with us. Mr. Yofori has joined us this morning. And Joel, please, if you don't mind, can we show that video of how people are selling on our markets? We took this video just a few days ago, and so that we can speak to it. But listen, what do you make of food safety in Ghana? Over a scale of, let's say, 0 to 10, how will you rate it? How safe do you feel when you go out there, whether to the markets or to the corner where you buy your kenke, you buy your fufu, or you buy your wachi? How safe do you feel when you're buying from them? Mr. Yafori, good morning to you.
What's our boss?
I trust you well.
Yeah, I'm doing very good.
So,
by His grace.
We thank God. So when you go to the market yourself, not to necessarily buy, but to regulate what the bylaw says, what do you make of the situation and conditions under which people are selling in the markets? Let's start with the markets. What are the conditions they sell under?
Good. Thank you very much. Once you are aware that we are doing these regulations and other things, we will go in there. Myself and my staff will go in there to control and monitor this kind of activity over there. So, because people from all walks of life come there to trade or do business over there, and as such, always you will be seeing people violate the laws. They sell here and there, and a whole lot of advice given to them. They find it difficult to hear to the advice. So always, the staff of environmental and sanitation units are on them, controlling all these issues to ratify the situation over there. But because you see, we are not up to the number, we are not up to the task, we always have to let over of these particular cases in the.
I would say that the situation is, check this video out for me, if you can see this. This is where somebody is selling cassava, selling plantain. And Joel, please go back for me. And for our listeners, we would like for you to also make time and join us on Facebook. Joel, if you don't mind, please put the video back for me, so that people can appreciate the circumstances and the conditions under which people are selling. Check this one out. And this is what happens on a daily basis. Now, you mentioned that you and your staff, you go on the ground to control and to monitor, and you advise. What does the bylaw says? I mean, is it to suggest that you have to advise? No, but if I have portions of what your bylaw says, for example, that an occupier of any store or stall in the market shall not expose any article of food for sale from a store or from a table or other support of a minimum height of at least 1.5 meters from the ground. This one has nothing like a height for it to be the worst food items to be displayed on.
Yeah, it's stated clearly.
So why are we allowed this? Why are we allowed
the point is, there are some people who just carry out their farm products far away from their home or far away from their farms, direct to the market. And these people, when they reach the market, there are some people at the market who have to see them, who have to give it to them, for them to also sell to different people. These are the people called maso. They are there always collecting these food items from the farmers from the farm, and then they are selling it on the basis of what we are being.
For those farmers who bring their farm produce directly to the market, these bylaws does not apply to them.
It's applied to them, but what I'm saying, once the items from their farms to the market, those maso people collect, sell from them, and they also give it to other people. And these people are doing this kind of business over there. So they don't have any place.
But you and I know that these people are not the farm workers who brought their produce to town.
Yes.
You and I know that these people are not the maso people. These are people who are stationed there on a daily basis, selling under these unhygienic conditions.
Well, they will be thinking, when is a cassava, when is a plantain, when is a cocoyam, when is a other plant.
Oranges, I've seen control.
I'm coming on that. When they realize that this wine is not consumed direct, when you go home, there is something you added to because you can make it direct for human consumption. That's why they just dispose it like that. But there is a law, like what you stated. There is a law. There is a law banning that. But we are tackling it from a different angle.
Which is
what? Okay, I'm coming. When we are going to the market, educating the people selling all these fruits on the ground and other things, we even ask them, please, madam, please, my mercy, where you are selling is not the best place for you to do that, because where you are selling is really very closer to the gutter.
Yeah.
And it automatically can contaminate.
But does the law say advice or the law says sanction must apply when they go contrary?
That is another big issue, because where we have this major critical issue is the race course. This picture you are showing is at race course.
It's not the race course.
It's at race course.
This is
at Roman Hill.
Zongo Police Station.
That area.
Going down to.
And if you go to Asafo Market, there are similar things there. There are several of our marketplaces where you have these things there.
Asafo Market,
elevate it from the ground to the table.
Asafo Market is a bit different because I've been there and I know what is actually pertaining right there.
Let me go to Asafo Market.
Yes.
Where the banks used to be, SG, and there was another bank on that main street, that road. Are you saying I don't see them display yam?
If you can see price,
I say you don't see yams display on the ground at Asafo Market.
As for yam, yes.
I've don't see plantain cassava.
No, it's there, but you cannot sit. You cannot see onions and tomatoes. No, it's there, but you cannot sit like what is meat abroad there, where the Zongo Market, the Zongo Police Station down, and then this race course. That one you see it's plenty over there.
And again, when you go to Asafo Market, another market, it is there.
But it's not up to
Tosu Market, it is there. Yes, so you can say it's not up to what we're saying here.
Okay.
But it's not something that is contrary to what the law says.
As for yam, yes, as for yam, but we are still advising them not to do that.
What is preventing from applying the bylaws?
Fine. That is another biggest challenge we have.
What is the challenge with that? Why can't you enforce the bylaws?
Gradually, we are going to that. And I'm showing you that there is a issue at stake. We are going to work and issue the bylaw.
What's the issue at stake?
We have some projects at hand at the moment, and we are going to implement it each first point any month from now, maybe from next month going.
Next month?
Yes.
What will happen from next month?
Oh, okay. We are going to tackle all the refuse in the central business of Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, and because of this, there is a strictly bylaw which bans everybody who go contrary to this, and we are going to implement it.
Forgive me. The conditions are not. If you check with you again, which of course is live on Facebook on LUV 99.5. So for what they are doing, does it go contrary to what the bylaw says?
Automatically,
it does.
It does.
What has that got to do with cleaning up of the CBD area of the filth? Because if you clean the filth and it's still under these conditions, what have you achieved? What have you done?
You see, it looks as if we are not getting your point clear. But the point I'm raising currently is we are going to institute these bylaws. We are going to enforce these bylaws any moment from now, because what we are seeing is the best practice in the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly.
If you have not been able to enforce the bylaws previously, what shows that going forward, like you're saying, from next month you can be able to do anything?
That's why I said things have been put in order. We have been arranged, and then there are some people from different part of the KMU put it together, and then we formulate these bylaws, and then we are going to implement it. That's why I say any moment from now we may be hear from us, and that fully assurance.
I hear you.
Yes.
Listeners, you can also bring your questions and your contributions. Our WhatsApp number is 05511119995. Join us there with your thoughts and your contributions. We're also equally live on Facebook on LUV 99.5. Now, these are challenges we have in our markets. And earlier this morning, myself, Eugene, and Leo, we were having some bit of a debate as to what is happening. But the point is this: even if you're selling Amani, the law says put it on the table and sell.
Yes.
So even if you're a poor person, you cannot afford it. If you go to the market, look for the places where they're selling the things under the right conditions. On the table, not on the bare ground. In so many to attention we shall now the few attention feeling no good and then we come home and we eat and we don't expect to get sick. But having said all this, let's move on to the other leg of the conversation. And that's why I bring you in, Mr. Tete. Who ensures that even in chobas and the food vendors who sell, that safety is adhered to, that food will not be contaminated, and that when we go and we want to buy, we're buying the right things. Have at the back of your mind, for example, that on a daily basis there are places where there are some foods that are supposed to be refrigerated, but they're exposed to the sun, and the vendors are selling them like salad, and they mix the salad with all the vegetables in there, with the cream in there and whatever. It's supposed to be under refrigeration. Again, they're selling under these things. Who ensures that the salt that is being used is the right amount of salt? Who ensures that, for example, the oils that they are using is not more than necessary? Who ensures that the MSGs are not used? That is the monoglutamate it is. That does not create problems for us. Who ensures this?
Thank you very much. It is not a matter of a particular agency ensuring that you haven't used too much seasoning, you haven't used too much salt. We don't teach how to cook, right? There are standard foods, and that's why every food has a name. The issue here is that, is the food prepared under the right conditions? Is it served under the right conditions? Is it stored appropriately? This is the issue. Now, at those places I mentioned earlier, that with the street food vending permit we are issuing, it covers all the categories of vendors you mentioned. So before you receive your permit, you should have gone through all the stages. You should have also scored a minimum mark, and that mark includes all the things you're mentioning. So
minimum mark of what?
Maybe 40 and above.
Minimum of what? What are you looking at?
There's really a huge set of questionnaire or areas you need to pass in. Yes. So let's say the preparation area. What is the hygienic level? Hand washing, cleaning, and following your SOP, standard operating procedures, that you can consistently prepare the food to meet the same standard level. So all these things will be checked, and from time to time, even after the permit is issued, we'll visit you on unannounced basis.
So Mr. Tete, forgive me, you're supposed to protect what I eat when I go out there.
Yes.
If the person who is cooking the meal is sneaking MSGs into the meal, something that the law frowns on, are you saying that either from the KMA's Health Sanitation Department or the FDA, you cannot protect me, so that when I go to a restaurant, when I go to a chop bar and I'm eating, I know at the back of my mind that measures have been put in place that MSGs do not, exist in the food?
Well, the standards must be followed. The authority may not be at the food preparation area all the time, and we expect that once we have taken you through what you need to know before you go into your food business, there will be self-compliance. And that is why when it is detected that you have adulterated the food, which will come out anyway, you will face the music. So it is not a matter of a loose control, but once we give you the permit, you know everything you need to know about your operation.
And you tell them what not to add to the food?
There are approved colors, approved ingredients. Unapproved ones are not supposed to be seen,
Not supposed to.
added.
But if they add to it, how do you know? How do I know I'm safe?
As I said, we will not be there throughout the preparation period. You, the consumer, will also not be there. So it is the person who is into that. If it comes up,
How does it come up?
there certainly will be an outbreak.
A bake-off.
There will be an issue if the food is not safe. You're going to have a case where consumers will complain because of injurious experience.
So we need to we get there before the complaints come in.
What you are saying is you will need to put a policeman or an officer 24/7, and that is not possible. We don't regulate like that. That is why we give the sensitization, we train, we educate. The expectation is you do what you are supposed to do. The rest will come up when it happens.
What are the sanctions that apply if somebody goes contrary?
Well, it depends on the size, the level of risk of whatever has happened, because the Public Health Act gives the authority power to either prosecute or fine you or both.
Okay. My colleague Lusani has a question.
Yeah, I wanted to know, especially with those who sell by the roadsides, the normal food vendors, do we have a system where maybe periodically we just unannounced go and take samples from
what they're selling?
Yeah, and
because that's an area I wanted you, Mr. Yafo, to touch on. So I don't know what he just asked. You do periodic checks.
Yeah.
How do they even start in the first place to sell on our streets?
Yeah.
Do they just go, it's okay, I'm a good cook, I don't have a job, so I cook and I start selling? Or there's a process they have to go through to be given some test that they have to do what they're cleared to sell, and then like he was asking how regular do you go out there? Because in fact I started watching answer I bet you the bus of the tongue. Under what circumstances did she keep the watching? How wholesome or safe is it? So the chain, how to start? Do you just get up and say I know how to cook?
Sometimes you see the pan they are selling in, and there are some things developing around it.
Yeah. You see, like when we are discussing, you know, preparation of food varies from one person to another, and now we cannot get it 100%, like what Mr. A is saying. Now, when you go to a restaurant or choba A, you can get a taste of this, another wine, you can get another taste. So, as you go in there, maybe you are tasting about 2 or 3 vendors, but the one which satisfy you, that is where you're supposed to go. But when you go there, see the surroundings, the environmental around that particular place, like what he says, saying, if somebody is selling closer to the gutter, automatically, if you are more rational being, don't go there, because automatically the contamination of the food has already taken place because of the gutter. You the person also sitting down selling to the public. We'll be advising them, don't sell closer to the gutter. Maybe there's some distance. Or when you are going to sell at the gutter, please maintain the place to avoid contamination, to avoid any other sources of go contrary to what is expected of them.
When you advise them, they don't take the advice.
That's why I said we are going to use that law, which you have prepared it, because when actually taking against those people, automatically there are some people, politicians. I'm coming. Let me finish. But once this one we have been free, and we are just giving to all stakeholders, this is what we are going to do. This is what we are going to implement. So please, if anybody is arrested, don't come and beg on the behalf of them, whether you are from A or B.
Whether you're a chief or a politician.
Yes.
Now, if they are begging now and you are allowing them have their way, what shows that when they come later to beg you?
That is why this time we are serious about it. We are going to change. I cannot talk Greater Kumasi. Well, now we have Greater Kumasi, but where I'm sitting now is not part of KMB, but it's part of Greater Kumasi. That's why I'm here. But we are going to change KMA and 8 environs, which is combined to make what Greater Kumasi.
So you say next month? Which part of which date next month?
Okay, hopefully July. Everything will take off.
1st July.
Yes.
1st July.
Yes.
1st July.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I keep hearing that you are working on bylaws. Is it to suggest that you are amending the current bylaws and you're bringing a new one?
No, it's not a matter of amending. Initially, we just use the criminal bylaw, local governance, and the Public Health Act. But this one, we are going to resist it to KMA bylaws. KMA bylaws. We are going to do that, and then we are going to implement it to its fullest. So everybody will be arrested and is capable of doing A or B, and the law arrested the person, automatically he will deal with. He will deal with drastically.
If come the 1st of July, getting to the end of July, we don't see this action taken, we can call you and say you're failed.
Mark my words.
We can call you and say you're failed.
No, you mark my words. Now we are serious about it. We are waiting for a few things, and it is on the way coming.
Okay.
And it's on the way coming. And as a result of this, if a vendor is closer to a certain point, and advice going and maybe he's not follow this advice, automatically you see, and it will be published.
I don't know.
It will be published.
I don't know whether to believe you and trust you.
No, it will be
I'm keeping my
published.
fingers crossed. Actually, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, hoping that what you're telling us.
Let me finish. It will be published. And if a guy, if you are not care, you can come. I will invite you at the court and see what is actually pertaining over there. And I will just
sensitized vendors about this. Have you told them that?
Yes, we started.
You've started that.
We started.
But let me come to you, Mr. The original boss for the Mr. Tete. Now, Ghana has a fatty meat policy that regulates importation of fat in meat on the market. So, for example, the policy, says that to address human health risks, Ghana prohibits the importation of meat with a fat content by weight greater than 25% for beef, 25% for pork, 15% for poultry, and 30% for mutton. Imported turkeys must have their oil glands removed. And this is something I chanced on this dawn. Question is this policy, how well are we enforcing it? Because when you go to our markets, there are people who are still selling the turkey tails, the trophy, which is not supposed to be sold. So how can we get these things on our market, and what are you doing about it?
Well, thank you very much. These products come in reefer containers, which means that they come in freezers. You may not be able to do 100% inspection at the port. Over the period, I have worked at the port before, we realized that the frontage of the container will be packed with the wholesome ones. And then at the back, where you cannot reach at the port, you have those ones hidden. We followed it up to the various storage facilities for thorough inspections to be done. You may not be able to have 100% inspection, as I said, because sometimes those who want to smuggle would keep the same information on the chicken thighs as the turkey tail. So it means that to get to the bottom of this, you have to remove, in fact, open every carton. That's not possible for trade. The second aspect is that those who are now trading in it in the marketplaces would have to be picked to trace to who imported. And this is what has been happening. It has not been easy. And that is why this current system of food, the Ghana's food safety policy, is combining all who matter in the trade of food. The police service, the Ghana Standards Authority, EHOs, and many more, so that you won't have just one organization or agency fighting this for the entire nation. Some of the laws overlap. There are shades of overlap. And for that matter, it pays not to work in silos. And until that is done, until the turf war ends, we're not going to achieve anything. Because if you do the inspection at the port, it may not be enough to see everything. We also have the market surveillance unit, which goes beyond the port to the various vending points and the storage facilities. So when we chance on these things, they are detained, seized, and disposed of.
You say chance. Is that to suggest that you don't vigorously say, well, we are delving and searching and looking for to deal with it?
Well, my use of chance is not to say accidental. But when you go to the facility to do your inspection, you may come across it. That's my use of the chance.
I hear you. Before I go to Mr. Ofori again, let me stay with you a while longer, because 2 weeks ago, we had some researchers from KNUST, one doctor and one professor. They joined us and they complained badly about the proliferation of unhealthy food and sugar-sweetened beverages on our market. How come the FDA passes these beverages, to get onto our markets? If what they told us that these are causing non-communicable diseases to people, the figures are so high and so disturbing and so worrying. And you and I can attest to the fact that when you hit the streets right now, most of the shops, they have it even displayed in the sun, which of course is illegal. They have it in the sun displayed, selling them and all that. So how come, first of all, the FDA passed these sweetened beverages that has sugar in there? Some of them they write it's original or it's natural. You and I know that there are sugar contents and other additives. What do you consider before you pass these things? And are they indeed dangerous to our health, as the researcher said?
Right. Anything FDA has approved is good for your health. The question now is, do we use those things appropriately? You may have water, which is seen as common item. If you take 1 gallon of water at a sitting, you will fall sick. There are quantities that will be taken at a sitting, but if consistently you keep feeding your system with those things. Somebody also mentioned at one of the fora we had, whether excessive use of these condiments, the spices, was what was approved by the FDA. But what volume do we use? What amount do we use if we are cooking?
But have you communicated that to consumers, that when it comes to these fizzy drinks, don't drink beyond half a bottle or 3 bottles? Have you communicated to people that don't use in these excess quantities because it's dangerous to your health? How do we know?
The health issue is not just what you take in, but lifestyle is also part of it. So if you keep eating without burning the energy off, you store the energy in you, and that can complicate your system. Fizzy drinks are not supposed to be enjoyed excessively.
But the question is, have you communicated that to people and said, listen, don't overdrink these things, don't do this? Because we see them on the markets and they say what they are natural food juices. And once something is natural, then it's natural.
Yes, the FDA will not register a product which has natural if it is not natural, because there are rules in the labeling. Secondly, you wouldn't have any communication or education saying, take this quantity of contumely. Food is food, and it is just the amount that satisfies.
But do you agree that they are causing non-communicable diseases like the diabetes and hypertension and heart problems and all that, the cardiovascular diseases?
I mentioned earlier that we no longer are doing things the way we used to do. There is collaboration. The new policy that was launched last year brings everybody together, including academia. FDA is also collaborating with the research institutions. So all these things will gear towards the health of the population.
Okay. 03220-83596, 03220-83597, 03220-83598. Those are numbers that you can reach us on. Call us now. If you have any question for the FDA boss or the our friend from the KMA, the Sanitation and Health Department KMA, you can also ask them questions here. 03220-83596, 03220-83597, and 03220-83598. What do you make of food safety in Ghana? Hi, good morning.
Hello?
Yeah, Kofi, good morning.
Good morning, Dave.
Yeah, let's hear you.
Is the FDA boss denying the fact that soft drinks that are in the market right now do not, give us diabetes, hypertension, cancers, and the rest, as was said by the doctor who came on your show last week or two? Denying that.
Kofi has not denied it, but he says too much of everything is bad.
How can you say that? How can you say that if you're taking it too much? Can somebody sit down at a go and take 5 bottles of Coke a day at a go? Can somebody take 5 bottles of Fanta at a go. What is he saying? The person is saying that it causes uncommunicable diseases, and you are the very department who approves of these soft drinks. You are not denying it, but you are saying that it's taking it too much. Taking it too much in what sense?
Hey, Kofi, he will give you a response. Thanks for joining us. SK, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, David.
Well, SK, let's hear you, sir.
Yes, I think the FDA has a lot of work to do. I am a scientist myself. I go around town. I see a lot of herbal medicines on the market that are not FDA approved. A lot of orthodox medicine that are smuggled through our neighboring countries into this country that has escaped the eyes of the FDA. And all those drugs are in the market, you see. So those buyers that are not informed, they will endanger their lives. So I think the FDA has a lot of work to do. Their men should be on the ground checking on all these things. And secondly, I think they should have a contact that some of herbicides that are on the market, when we see some of these things, we can inform them. We can call them and inform them and alert them as to where they can trace this culprit.
Thank you very much, SK. We appreciate the call. Godwin is also on the line. Hi, Godwin.
Good morning, David.
Good morning, Godwin.
David, I'm very, very disappointed in the FDA. To be frank, I have to be frank today. Miraho, the way he's speaking. I think the way he's speaking is like, each for himself, God for us all. And they are not to do anything. David, you asked a question, and it bordered on standard. And he was saying they have spoken to them, they have educated those who are cooking and so forth, and they expect them to do the right thing. David, at least, even if in every quarter, you go around, take samples of those things that they are cooking and doing. Then you check and see whether they are doing the right thing and putting the right things in. But to say that you are waiting for an outbreak for people to come and report, please, this is about our health. I'm very worried, especially when he made that statement. You don't just assume that people will be doing the right thing. You need to check them. That is why there has to be enforcement. And he was also saying that when it comes to people displaying things outside there, and it's better, please, let's check our various markets, our streets, and see what is happening. It is worse off. And I think, one of my former boss once said, when you are talking to people, credit us with a little bit of wisdom. And please, let us do that. I think
thank you very much, Godwin. We can pick one more call, and we'll give you responses. We have George there. Is it George or George?
Hello. Good morning, David. Hello, Dave.
Yeah, George. Good morning.
Fine. How are you, Dave?
I'm well, George. Good to have you, sir.
David, the FDA have a lot to do. You see, my question is, do they used to go around to check on those who are selling by the roadside? David, you see someone selling by the roadside, he have a little small water in a little bowl. If you go to buy food, the person will just dip her hand in the water and then give you some of the food. The water will be dead. It will not be changed. Small bowl of water, whether fufu or benku or any other food. You see? So the water, even to change the water is a problem. You put this small water in a small bowl. If you go to buy food, then you just dip it. You will not wash the hands. Just dip the hand in that dirty water and then start giving you food. So the FDA mustn't be sitting in their offices and be talking on the radio. Please, at times, they should go around and check on those who are selling food by the roadside. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, George. Before we go into our WhatsApp console, what's responses, please?
Right, thank you very much. Fizzy drinks. If you listened to me well, I didn't pick the name, but if you listened to me well, I did not deny. What I mentioned was that the FDA currently is collaborating with the academia and the research institutions. Now, why are we doing so? So that what probably might have been missed will be brought onto the foreburner. And this means that it may change policies, it may change the way things are done. I did not say it is not true that they are given. However, it must be noted that you cannot just assume in the world of science, it is not emotions that you think because this is there, people are drinking, it is giving them illnesses. You need to come with data, and we work with data to formulate policies. So we don't just take decisions out of emotion. So please, don't get disappointed. Yes, FDA has a lot of work to do, and that is why we have opened our arms very widely and involving all those who matter in the food safety continuum. Standards are there, yes. Enforcement. If you listened to me, this goes to the one who said he was heavily disappointed.
I think
because
Godwin, yeah.
Godwin, yes. So Godwin, listen to me again. I said we move out on announced basis and unannounced basis. My preamble was that the fact that, or maybe because we are giving you training, the producers and the vendors, we give them training, education, and sensitize the buyers as well. Now, when you go to a place to buy food and you realize that the place is not hygienically clean, what's your business buying the food from that place? So everybody has a role to play. For us, the regulators will continue to enforce, will sample to test, will ensure that the corporates are arrested and prosecuted. But you buying the food must also do your bit. The fact that you are hungry does not mean wherever you see food you buy.
Okay.
That is very important.
And then
please.
the last one?
And then the last one, street food. I mentioned street food vending. It used not to happen, the issuance of the vending permits. But this time we are collaborating with the assembly, the environmental health units of the assembly, to issue people with the vendors permits. So what we are encouraging you buyers or consumers is that when you move out there, look out for, this is happening across the entire nation. FDA is present in all the regions. So look out for the vending permits and buy from those people.
Okay.
Those who are just displaying wares anyhow, leave them alone and they'll be out of business.
All right.
That is what we're saying.
I hear you.
Right.
Can we squeeze in one message from WhatsApp, please?
Okay, this one says, okay, hold on. It says, hello, David. Thank you for discussing this topic. This is one of the critical issues in Ghana, but I don't think we have devoted enough in addressing it. I have been in the food safety business for over 22 years and now into consultancy. I can work with FDA and the Environmental Health Division to come up with programs, get sponsorship and implement these programs. I can be contacted on this phone number. He left the phone number.
Okay, we hear you.
He says a lot of people are asking whether the FDA have been visiting the premises of food establishments. From where I sit, I can say yes. However, unable to say whether they are doing enough or not.
I hear you. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Yaofori, Metro Environmental Head, KMA, and of course you, Mr. John Lai Odai Tete, Ashanti Regional Head for the FDA. Gentlemen, thank you very much. We'll make some time and talk some more because, listen, sincerely, our health is at stake, and we need to do everything possible, to get it right. Coming up our way shortly is a Hotline documentary, A Nation That Begs. That is the title of that Hotline documentary. It comes up